Moving from edging fear out of the equation, now to how do you get yourself prepared when you see this big swell coming your way. So for me, I think it's very important to not get caught off guard. So if I'm aiming to surf 10-foot waves out in front of the house at Outercombe, I feel it's very important to watch the forecast for the conditions that's going to create those waves. So regularly bring up your whatever forecasting system you watch, and when it pops up, then you want to have a good length of time before it hits. For me, I like to have at least 5 days. The worst thing for me is if someone says to me, have you seen the swell that's hitting tomorrow? It looks huge. Suddenly you feel unprepared, like, oh, is my equipment ready? I haven't processed this in my mind. But if you've got 5 days to process it, then you can really lay on the visualization stuff thick, and you can get into your head, you can process it, you can edge out all the fear and the doubt, and you can bring it into purpose. Cool, so yeah, as you see that big swell coming your way, you can process it in your mind, and instead of seeing it as an opportunity for you to have a wipeout, to have a long hold down, or to break your board, see it as a big challenge and opportunity to step up, to fulfill your potential and to get the wave of your life. That's how I like to see it. When I see a big swell that's coming, I process it in my mind as being a life-changing opportunity, and I'm going to go out there and catch the biggest wave of my life. Okay, so in the days leading up to the swell, it's very important to check that your equipment is ready and strong. Make sure you've got extra leashes. You don't want to have any dings in your boards. A ding in the rail can actually create a weak spot for your board to break. The last thing you want is on the morning of the swell to be running around and getting equipment, and that just adds to the nerves. So make sure your equipment is ready and strong, and you can have confidence in your equipment that you're ready to go. Okay, the third thing in preparing for the swell that's coming is to know the spot. So if you're unfamiliar with the waves you're about to surf, I'd really recommend speaking to a local. The first thing you want to know about it, what are the dangers out there? For instance, Nazare is a beach break. It's got huge currents. Dungeons is a huge shifting peak, and it has an end bowl that has a ledge that just unpredictably comes out the wave. If you're surfing Sunset, the finger of reef goes super far to sea, and there's a big danger of getting caught inside out there. So wherever you're surfing, tap into a local person's knowledge and know what the dangers are. The second thing is very important to know is the lineups. A lot of people, when they're out there in the water, they're kind of floating aimlessly, and they may be referencing with the crowd or something like that. But often people are talking in between sets, and they drift totally out of position, and suddenly the whole crowd is getting caught inside. So each place that I like to surf, I would try and make markers on the beach to see how far left and right I am, and then to the side, if you can, make markers on the beach to see how far out to sea you are. All this kind of feeds into the confidence of knowing that you're in the right spot to catch the right wave when it comes your way. If you're floating aimlessly and you don't know where you are, it's a lot more difficult to catch that life-changing wave. If you have your lineups dialed, you can be confident to sit on the buzzer and catch the wave of your life. So the last point in preparing for the swell is to know the swell. So when the swell is coming, you want to know, is it a rising swell? Is it a big period swell? What are the tides doing? For instance, the most dangerous swells are long period swells that are rapidly increasing. If you are sitting out the back and the swell is going from 3.5 to 4.5 meters in just a few hours, you must know that there's going to be bigger sets coming. If there's a big period in the swell, there's going to be long lulls, and then there might be a 5-wave, super powerful big set. If the tide is draining and going out, you know that the waves are going to be breaking further out to sea. So all these factors you want to take into account when you're looking at the swell, and you want to be knowing exactly what the swell is doing. The best and safest way to surf big waves, I believe, is to sit where the biggest waves of the day are going to be breaking. So I like to use my lineups to go sit on the place where I think the biggest waves are going to be breaking, and then when the set of the day comes, you're catching it instead of it breaking on your head. This takes a lot of patience, but it's really worked for me over the years to surf big waves as risk-free as possible. So your body is built to survive. All mammals have this mechanism called the mammalian dive reflex. And basically what happens when you enter cold water, you have receptors on your face. And when these receptors touch the water, it automatically lowers your heart rate, preserving your precious oxygen. It constricts the blood vessels in your outer limbs, and this sends the oxygen-rich blood to your inner organs and your brain. When you're under severe oxygen stress, your spleen actually contracts and releases a whole new rejuvenation of red blood cells and oxygen. So your body is doing amazing things to help you to survive. And then in the worst case scenario, if you're under the water for a long time and you can't come up, one must never ever breathe in water. If you take water in, your chances of survival dramatically decrease. It's absolutely incredible how your body is built to survive, and if you remain calm, you're gonna survive.